Welcome in. Oh, I can't even say welcome in. Sound check. 1 2 1 2. Welcome in to another SR51 Media stream. I am your host, Salt Aries. Today is the Aries Alert Show, episode 15. Welcome. Today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. I'm going to be going over some topics I organized for this stream. We're going to have gameplay in the black. I am black, but besides that, basically, I have some topics I wanted to get into, some things that I was talking about on Twitter earlier today, if you were checking my tweets, and some things that are just in gaming in general that I decided I wanted to put my opinion in before the year was over. Like I said, we're going to have gameplay in the future. I don't want to say that I'm going to use gameplay that I play because the fact of the matter is, to be honest, sometimes I stream 7 and 8 hours, right? So right now, the Cardinals at 87, right? So we're gonna let these two teams go after each other, right? I think it's gonna be a good matchup. You got Tom Brady versus Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins versus Mike Evans. I think I'm gonna turn this up to. I'm not controlling the team, so they'll go 6 minutes. If well, actually, let's turn it up to 12 minutes, right? And then let's make it where no, we're not gonna even the teams. Buccaneer Stadium, make it a night game, like a Monday night game, 8:15, 12 minutes a wrap. And if we go longer, we go longer. Now let me bring the game audio down a bit because I don't want you to have to struggle. It can be in the background. Well, actually, let's actually make it a little bit low so you can hear it, but it's not, where you have to struggle to hear me because we are here for a game stream. So, at the same time, right? My fault. I have the TV up. Forgot I had the TV up. So, one of the things that I'm glad I realized today, we had to get the Aries Alert Show going again. The Aries Alert Show had to come back just to make you a little bit aware. So the Aries Alert Show is a topics-based show where I talk about gaming topics, my opinions on them, news in gaming industry, and different things that are going on, right? Originally, I used to host it on SoundCloud. Shout out to all my SoundCloud followers and fans and community over there as well. But what I realized was that SoundCloud wasn't necessarily the best place for me to host my podcast, right? So what I did was, just to let you know, I'm available on YouTube and I'm also available on theta.tv. Now, we're not going to get too much into today what cryptocurrency is and what excuse me, what cryptocurrency is and what NFTs are and stuff like that. Just to make it aware, I'm not a financial advisor. This is just me documenting my journey, right? This is for educational purposes and documentation of my journey and content. I am not a financial advisor. Seek your own financial advice from a financial advisor. But cryptocurrencies is one of the best investments out nowadays because it gives you the ability to basically invest with a company when they're first starting out. A lot of times when you see companies that are going to be created, they're kind of out of hand. Like the stock will be $500 a share, and then they have, 2% margin of a difference that happens a year, and you spent all this money, you're just sitting there waiting for it to cash in. Whereas with crypto moves in a very faster pace, where you could invest in something today and be changing your life next year or 2 years from now. People have done it, and it's one of those things where it's not scamming you. It's not, a shady investment. It's something that, if you put in the right research and you put in the right information to learn what it is, and you have to understand, no matter how much somebody tells you about it, you have to do your own research because everybody's basically everybody's investment is different. You see what I'm saying? Like for myself, I'm very into gaming when it comes to cryptocurrency and NFTs. I feel that also as an artist, I'm gonna put this out there. I don't have any shame in my game. Before I get into the topics here, I don't have any shame in my game saying. Remember, basically, I started on paper and pencil. I was one of those guys that tried college for a little bit with art to see if I liked it and things like that. And for me, some of the stuff that was being taught, I could tell was a little dated. They were working off of things that had been around for a while. So I decided to just continue to hone my craft on my own. Now, do I feel as though I'm the best in the world? Everybody should always feel as though you're the best. Okay. What I feel is that when I go to do something, I can hold my own. As a brand, when we draw logos and we draw updates and things like that, it can stand the test of time and hold its own. Like, prime example, people will source out drawing their logos, right? And then it puts you in a position where basically, I heard someone say they were unsure. Oh, excuse me, let me move the controller, that way I'll mess up the game. They were unsure if they should give out their artist's information because they don't want him or her to become occupied and not be able to do their art. When you give your, which is understandable. If you don't draw, I understand it. Prime example, take myself, right? I have no qualms with telling you guys, and that's why we had a podcast so we can chop things up. A lot of people, when it comes to music, a lot of times will not teach themselves how to do it. So now, when you go forward, your music stays the same. You see what I'm saying? Like it's understandable you have a theme song, but for me, I'm one of those type of people where, I could have a theme song like just prime example. There's some games coming out in the beginning of the year, like we're gonna talk about WWE, right? I might have a theme song that reminds you something of wrestling because I'm into wrestling for 4 or 5 months. And then Madden comes out, then I'm into Madden, then 2K comes out, and so on and so on and so forth. Having a consistent theme song where you have just one song, maybe I might go that route. Myself, I'm feeling more variety, especially when it comes down to videos and uploaded videos to my website. I really want it to be something that you can, to be honest, something that you can see the quality in. A lot of people sometimes feel that quality is just in cutscenes. I feel as though quality, yes, okay, the stream is on. It's not so much myself. I don't consider it to be so much in just what you're playing as it is the whole package. Like when you look close at the stream right now, we have the Christmas logos going. We have the information panel from the left to the right on the bottom. We have logos moving around. We have graphics, transitions, things like that. That shows you that we're taking the stream seriously. I'm taking this seriously. I'm not saying you're not taking it seriously when you don't have those things, because I mean, hey, everybody has to climb the ladder however way they climb it. But the thing of it is, some things are more important when you're trying to make it the best you're trying to make it, right? So the first topic I wanted to get into was a game called Starfield. What we know about it and how I feel about it. Okay, so if you don't know, Starfield is a Xbox exclusive. Some of the games we're going to be talking about are Xbox exclusive. Now, just to get a warning out here now, so it is on the stream and we got it out there. There is no shade towards PlayStation over here. Okay, I think God of War is an amazing franchise. As I grab a vape, okay, I have no qualms with saying that. I think God of War is an amazing franchise. I think Spider-Man looked like a very good game. Very crisp, very good graphics. I never played Infamous Second Son, but it looks pretty cool. And that's about 3 games from PlayStation that I have not played in the past. Hell, I haven't played God of War in probably the past 10 years. I had a PlayStation 4 for a little bit. The only reason why I got rid of it was because eventually I'm going to get a PS5. But sticking to the topic, right, where I was coming from with Xbox exclusives, a lot of the content that I'm going to be bringing to the Areas Alert show and most of the content I'm going to be making is going to be Xbox centric. Okay, the Aries Alert Show was started to alert you to some of the misinformation and some of the information that you may not know in gaming. Like prime example, a lot of people don't even know Starfield is coming next year in 2022. Now, Starfield is made by the guys that made Fallout 4 and Skyrim. So, if I could describe it to you best, imagine a game where you customize your character. You know, we're in that cold season. So the thing about it is, Starfield is made by the guys that made Fallout 4 and made Skyrim. If I could describe it to you, think that you create a player, and then you're given this massive open world where there's enemies, conversations, stories. Like this game, Fallout is so good as a franchise. My hand to God, Fallout is so good as a franchise that I played the Outer Worlds 2, no, excuse me, the Outer Worlds 1, where it was only made by 4 guys that made Fallout 4. And that thing is a hit. Everybody, if you ain't played it, try it, right? It's basically like one of those games where if you like crafting, then it's the game for you. Now, somebody like me, I don't like having to go find 40 sticks. You know, in Animal Crossing, I'll do that. But in a shooter, I'm not necessarily looking for that. Now, the difference is when you make a good world, right? This is the sort of game that, you know, it drops. I don't have a release date right in front of me. I know it's 2022, right? I know it's 2022, which is next year, right? So basically, you could be in a situation where Starfield, and one of the things that really kind of drew me into the game was the fact that they said each planet is supposed to be the size of a Skyrim map. Now, Skyrim is, to be honest, on the level of like Assassin's Creed maps, right? So you talking, my hand to God, each planet probably be like 10 hours plus. Easy. I'm giving it low numbers. You know, I'm giving you the numbers of those guys. Hold on one second. All right, I'm back. Move this around so the screen doesn't go off. So what I was saying was, on this first game, with Skyrim, each planet is supposed to be the size of basically a modern day games map. Okay. Now, if I had to guess, we're looking at something like caves, fortification, you know, places, buildings, maybe aliens. I'm not sure. You know, uh, excuse me. There'll be a lot of probably exploration. You know, places where you have to land, and I'm pretty sure you'll have to sell some things. Like if you can collect rocks or, you know, plant life or whatever, that'll be what you sell. There'll probably be enemies, factions. One thing I noticed in Fallout that I liked was, even though it was like an Armageddon world, that basically they had factions in the game where the story was so good that when you talk to a character, it wasn't like, you know, blah, 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 blah. It's like you're actually feeling like, yo, this dude is telling me something that I can maybe use, to get ahead. Like they might tell you, oh, this. I remember one time they told me this group over here, they got they got weapons. They got the power suit. It was like a power suit that you can wear in Fallout, right? If you've never seen it. And they were like, yeah, they got these power suits over here, this group over here, and they're really, without using a cuss phrase, basically, they're really stupid. You don't want to be around those guys. Man, I went over there and joined up with that gang. Before you know it, they started helping me with power armor, and they was giving me cells for my battery and stuff for my power suit and stuff. It was like a whole nother section to the game. It's some of the great games to me are games that you don't just run through. You actually live in for like a long period of time. Like, with the Starfield thing, I really feel that if this game lives up to what it's saying, hopefully it keeps its 2022 release date, right? And I believe myself, if it does, if it holds its 2022 release date, I think it's going to be a good game. By the time you got a space, it don't take much. A lot of people don't understand when you hear these games. Myself, take it from somebody that like I was on the front lines day one with Cyberpunk 2077. I take it from somebody that was on the front lines of Cyberpunk 2077. I wanted it to be a good game day one. I wanted it to be the type of thing where, this it was Keanu Reeves and all this other crap. But here's the thing about it: it's probably gonna take the rest of this year and parts of next year, 2022, to get it correct. Here's why necessarily to me that's not a bad thing. As long as you don't release a broken game and then walk away, I don't have a problem with that. Like I'm gonna tell you right now, excuse me, Starfield sounds so big as a game. There's gonna probably be some bugs. There's gonna be some glitches. Some things are not gonna work the way they should. But it's not that hard to make a space exploration game that we can all love. Especially, you have to keep in mind too. Some of the games I'm gonna point out to you are coming to you free if you have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. I know it sounds like, oh my God, here's another thing about Game Pass, but you have to understand that's what separates Xbox from PlayStation is the fact that if you have the subscription, you get all the games. It's not okay, Xbox came out with this game, you need $70, you need $100. No, you just play it day one. Like I didn't even know Halo Infinite campaign was coming with the pass. I thought it was just a multiplayer. I got the campaign too. I will be jumping into that in a little bit. Not like today or nothing because I'm gonna be talking for a while and stuff. But at the same time, I will be jumping into Halo Infinite campaign. And I'm not gonna lie, I watched a little bit, of people playing it. I saw a little bit of the end and stuff, but I want to experience it for myself. If I finish it, I finish it. If I don't, I don't. The multiplayer is so good, without getting into it because it's not a topic. The multiplayer is so good that it made me look different at other games, right? So with Starfield, if Starfield is the type of game where, let's say, you create a character, it's inside, it's hopefully it's third person. I would love for it to be third person. I don't know if it's third person or first person yet. But if it's first person, that's acceptable as well, as long as we get to see the character every now and again. Kind of like how the Outer Worlds work, where you don't see your character when you're talking to people. I mean, you don't see a character when you're talking, but you see a character every now and again where you're leveling up and stuff. I would like it to be where you have a third person that you see all the time, but it's not a deal breaker if it's first person. Okay, so the thing about it is now you have this first person. I mean, you have this, create a character, right? Let's say they give you, let's say at bare minimum they give you 5 planets in the beginning. Each planet has anywhere from 10 to 20 hours worth of content on it. Okay, we're well up over 100 hours, people. All right, when you climbing over 100 hours in a game, that's a great game right there. That's the type of game where while you playing it, you hope they make another or they bring more content for it. You're sitting up there like, hey, where's the DLC for this one? Where's the extra add-ons for this one? So far, I'm eagerly waiting on Starfield, and I think it's going to be a good game, and I think it's going to help Xbox in general. Next year, God of War comes out. I'm one of those people that understand that the Game Awards is more centric to what people think. So it's a strong possibility that with God of War coming out next year, that God of War is going to be Game of the Year 2022. I know it sounds like I'm, shooting Xbox down or something. That's not what's going on. I think that you have to understand that most of the time, like some of the main reasons I like the games we're going to be talking about is because you play them long term. Like I saw a lot of people playing Spider-Man for a day or a week or 2 weeks, maybe a month. But then after that, it's like how many people, like right now, how many of you are saying, hey, you know what I can't wait to do? Jump back into Spider-Man and swing around the city, or jump back into Spider-Man and save somebody. It's like it's worn off, right? Whereas with a game like Starfield, I'm like, nah, this is the type of game where it's like, to me, it's Halo on steroids. Like I love Halo. Don't get me wrong, I love Halo, and Halo will be talked about a different day. But Starfield sound like the type of thing where, for those people that want more of a Star Trek, Star Wars, you see what I'm saying? Right now, we in the middle. I'm a Star Trek fan myself, right? Shout outs to my father, of course. I'm a Trekkie, right? I like Star Wars too, in a sense of liking their content. But if I had to choose one to watch forever, it would be Trek all day. And to me, this game supremely appeals because basically it's your everyday Star Trek story with video games. Instead of like basically you'll have a ship. I'm pretty sure, right? There has to be customization. It's freaking Bethesda. Like these guys make every little thing customizable, and then they got books and audio logs in the game and stuff you can read. So really looking forward to that game. I'll be making more content revolving around that. This right here, the Aries Alert Show, episode 15, is my bring back show for the Aries. Okay, we're back. I don't know what was going on there for a second. I stopped talking for a second there because I saw the stream was reconnecting. But what I was saying was, this is the bring back of the Aries Alert Show, episode 15, and my goal is one a week. As long as, because it's crazy hours with this work schedule and things like that. So basically, this is my comeback for this week, right? So the second topic I wanted to get into was Crossfire X. So far, what's my thoughts? Now, if you don't know, Crossfire X is also a Xbox exclusive that is coming out later in 2022. Now, Crossfire X is different than Starfield in the sense where Crossfire X is, from what I can tell, a first-person shooter, action-driven game. So think Call of Duty stories, and stories that have to do, with like Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Black Ops, things like that, where the story is you're immersed, but it feels like you're a part of a team, because in the trailer you see 4 people jump out of a plane, and then I've read the article that I tweeted earlier today where they were talking about one of the scenes, without ruining anything for you. One of the scenes was you were infiltrating a building, and then you got kidnapped and tied on. Oh, okay. So, to me, I'm not going to say that Crossfire X is going to be a game that I could see playing for a whole year, because it feels like it might be a story-driven game. Like, that's why I think as a gamer, you kind of have to have an open mind when it comes to this war we're in right now, of technology. Because Crossfire X is a great game that, to me, it doesn't make you say, oh, I'm not going to buy Call of Duty, but it does make you say, okay, if Crossfire X is coming out anytime around Call of Duty or anytime around a different game of the year, you would be playing that versus playing Call of Duty. Now, I don't know enough about this game to say that they're going to have after release content. I don't know. What I know is they have a good it's made by Remedy, and the reason why I can say that they're a good studio is because if you go to the bottom of my channel where it says Salt Aries Media, that was my original channel before this channel. If you scroll all the way to the beginning, you'll see a game called Quantum Break, where that was one of the first games I ever streamed, was Quantum Break. It was made by Remedy, and it was one of the best stories I had ever seen. Seriously, like they had the dude from The Wire, Daniels, Chief Daniels. They they had Iceman from X-Men. They had a whole freaking movie in that game, man. I would love a Quantum Break too, but I still vaguely remember the story. I might actually go back and play it again. It was pretty hard to tell you the truth though. But the thing about Crossfire X for me is when I was reading the article, the boy was talking about how it's not like The Last of Us and how it doesn't do what The Last of Us does with story and multiplayer. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm just gonna give you a raw opinion. The Last of Us don't appeal to me. Don't take it the wrong way. It's not that I think it's a trash game. I never call something trash just because I don't play it. I don't think anybody should call something trash just because you don't play it. But if the game does not appeal to you, you should be given a lane to at least explain why you feel that way. Now, the reason why the game doesn't appeal to me is because it's a different style of sneaking, right? Like, prime example, in Assassin's Creed, you've seen me do it, and I'm gonna tell you like this: I will be getting Assassin's Creed reinstalled once I get my hard drive, so you're gonna see more Assassin's Creed in the future here. But it's like Assassin's Creed. You would see me duck down. Okay, stream is still visible. We're still up. So you take a game like that, right? Where basically they're keeping it simple. You see what I'm saying? Hold on, because the stream is not loading on my end. If it's not loading on your my end, that means it's not loading on you guys' end. Okay, let me make sure it's keeping up. And all right, you're still keeping up. So, well, you're ways behind, but you're still keeping up. So, the thing about it is, you take a one second. All right, I'm back. So you take a game like Crossfire X, right? The man said in the article while he was reviewing it, they let him play chapter 1 and 2. And the first thing he thought of while he was playing the game was Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Now, nobody would dispute the fact Call of Duty Modern Warfare is like up there with Black Ops. You see what I'm saying? It's one of those game series where, for Call of Duty, it's one of the best series in their whole entire lineup, right? So let's say hypothetically that Xbox brings out Crossfire X. It's loved, and everybody wants some sort of content for the game, right? I don't know if they're planning DLC because I'm one of those type of people where, don't get me wrong, I'll talk about the rumors and I'll talk about the rumors. I'll talk about the should be news and stuff like that, but I don't like to put it out there like it's definite news. And the definite news right now is that when you go to Crossfire X's website, they're shooting for, I think, don't quote me on this, but I think February of 22. Okay, so that game should be available not too long. It shouldn't be too long before we're playing that game. And I think that if it is the type of game where it's loved by us Xbox gamers, we could be on. They could be on to something great right there. Because basically, I think Remedy is great storytellers. When you look at Quantum Break, I think a lot of people like that Control game. Control was a game that came out earlier this. I'm gonna say either last year or this year, because I don't have it directly in front of me. I didn't play it, so excuse me. But it was one of those games that came out where essentially everybody loved it. Okay, and they loved Remedy for what they did. So with them now making Crossfire X, I'm appealed by it because I'm like, shootouts, battles. I mean, especially if you could bring a team with me. If you could bring a team with me, it'd be great because then, you're not in a situation where it's you versus 40 enemies. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's fun every now and again, but it can become frustrating when it's just you. So, Crossfire X looking like a go, looking like a really, pretty good game. 1 second. So the thing of it is, Crossfire X is looking like a go. The game looks like it's going to be tough. And those two games that I just mentioned, once again, just putting it out there, if you have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, you get those games day one. Just download them, play them, keep them as long as you want. And people that don't have to play it have to pay the 70 or 80, how much they cost. So the next topic, Saints Row, what I think about the franchise heading into this next game. Now, if you don't know, I am a mega fan of Saints Row. To me, this is just my experience, okay? To me, Saints Row is up there with Halo as far as Xbox love for games for me. A lot of people don't realize that Saints Row was only available on the Xbox for a period of time in the beginning. And when people see Saints Row and they see GTA, the common thread there is always, well, Saints Row copied GTA. Now let's just stop for a second, right? And really analyze that as far as a statement. GTA 1, 2, and 3, and 4, right, were all based in realistic, everyday, modern lives, right? Like basically modern day lives with a splash of violence, right? Now, when Saints Row came out, Saints Row didn't try to be GTA. GTA, I've played, just understand where this is coming from. This is not a punching down scenario. I fell in love with GTA, if I'm not mistaken, on handhelds or PlayStation or whatever the hell this damn thing came out. But I know I used to play that handheld version of GTA. I mean that top-down version of GTA almost daily when that game first came. I couldn't believe the fact that you could run somebody over with a car, get out and stab them, and run from the police and do all that crap. It was something that wasn't happening, right? But for me, I also had Saints Row. So when Saints Row 3 came out, and I mean when Grand Theft Auto 3 came out and Saints Row came out, I leaned more towards Saints Row because I felt as though it was in its own world. Like if you played Saints Row 1, what happened was basically the rival gang tried to kill you and you got saved by the Saints, and then they explained to you like, it's tough out here, player. That's how they used to talk in the game. It's tough out here, player. You might want to think about joining up, before you get caught in this crossfire. And then before you know it, you join the Saints, and they're, the famous line, gotta protect the role player. And that's how it was and stuff. They had some of the, baddest music from rappers. This is long before people cared about putting everyday rappers in their games. Like they had serious rappers from that time. The music used to just roll in the game. I remember it was one of the first games where you could hold two Uzi style guns in each hand and just, spray down and it'd be good sights and stuff. This is things that wasn't going on in GTA. They were not, pushing the level. And then the explosions, like, don't get me wrong, GTA had explosions, and I played 3. Put it to you like this, I played 3 so much that I still remember that if you get loaded in the beginning of the game and you drive under the bridge and hang a left right before you get to the top of the hill and go all the way over to the left, you'll find a dealership. And if you crash through the window, you'll find a Banshee. I used to do that every time I loaded in. No matter what mission I got, I went and got a Banshee. This is how much I was playing GTA 3, right? But at the same time, I'm still playing Saints Row, right? So boom, Saints Row 2 comes out, and they just improved the game even more, right? Saints Row 3 comes out, they improved the game even more. Now, for whatever reason, around the time that GTA 5 came out, they brought out a very different kind of Saints Row. This was the Saints Row that was like superpowers and jumping from building to building and fighting aliens and stuff like that. I don't know if the studio didn't believe that they were going to get another game or what, but that game, out of all the games, ranks as the one that I necessarily didn't like or finish. Now, every other Saints Row, I've I think it's 1 through 4. Yeah, I think it's 1 through 4, 1 through 3, something like that. All the other ones outside of the alien ones, I finished multiple times, right? So we cut to the Saints Row that's gonna be releasing, I think in August, if I'm not mistaken, right? Here's the thing about it. If I was to tell you the characters in the game were all hood characters, and they all look like they came from the urban environment of the hood. They all dress like it, talk like it, walk like it, right? And even nationalities, all matched up to hood nationalities. Would you be entertained by that game in today's world? No, you wouldn't be. People can say what they want to say. It's not politically correct. Okay, nowadays when you want to make a game that has 5 or 6 different main characters, you have to make it where those 5 or 6 different characters are spanning across all forms and nationalities and creeds and colors and feminine and manly and all that sorts of crap. It doesn't even matter, because that's just what the world is now. You see what I'm saying? If you don't want that reflected in your games, sorry to say, you ain't gonna be playing a lot of games. People want to see themselves in games. Like myself, sometimes I don't attach to games just to call it fair. I don't attach to some games where there's no African Americans whatsoever. You see what I'm saying? Like if it's a Dragon Ball Z game, yeah, I'm in. But you take like a Saints Row game where they're in Mexico, they got women, they got men, they got young adults, they got older adults, they got older adults, like seniors, right? That are villains. I saw one dude was a villain as a senior, right? They're in a different style of world, okay? It's an open sandbox. It's one of those games where basically you cut it on and you dominate the map. You see what I'm saying? It's old school Saints Row. Here's a map. Here's 100 enemies standing between you and the end of the game. Even when you end the game, it doesn't really end. You're fighting against gang members, and you're also fighting against the environment. So to me, once again, this is one of those games where I could see playing it longer than just 10 or 12 hours. I mean, I know there's going to be people, I know it's called speedrunners. Some people, like there's already people that have beat Halo already in speed test and just a certain amount of hours. So the thing about it is, I know there's going to be people that speed run through it, or there's going to be reviewers that play 20 minutes of the game and say that, I can write a review on this game and stuff like that. But for me, a good game. I think it's going to be one of those things where the game itself stands up and has legs. And I think that also, just to call it fair, when you look at GTA 5, I think most people are crying out for a GTA 6 because of the fact that they're done on GTA 5. It's kind of hard to enjoy a world where you log in and 5 seconds into the login, somebody flies past in a spaceship and shoots you with rockets, And when you think about it, not in a bad way or anything like that, that was one of the main things that everybody was complaining about with Saints Row. That, it was over the top action and the famous line, oh, people beating each other with dildos. Here's the thing. Some people like doing that in games. I mean, it ain't me. I never used it as a weapon or anything like that, but it is what it is. Some people want it in games, hey, so what, it's a weapon. I look at it like there's too far. Like with the Alien game that Saints Row made, that was too far. But with Saints Row 1, 2, and 3, classics, man, classics. And when I look at the Saints Row now, I'm like, you got wingsuits, you got pretty good gun, you got some, look like, from what I can tell, pretty good guns, you got abilities, You got different groups of enemies. Okay, so it's not just one of those things where basically you're going up against this one gang that just happens to control the whole town. You got different groups. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a story built in there. If I had to guess, they're not going to close the door on themselves this time. I don't think they'll do anything too wild that, basically puts them in a situation where they're not able to make another Saints Row a couple of years from now. I don't think a lot of people understand that, when you look at GTA 5, it's not like, yes, GTA 5 story was good, but the online version, the reason why they haven't brought out GTA 6 is because you have to think, if there's 100 million, let's just say there's 100 million people playing GTA 5, or just to say 10 million people daily playing GTA 5 online, right? When you bring out GTA 6 online, or GTA 6 period with GTA Online, that game is not going to have to beat out Saints Row to be successful, because Saints Row number one is in a different lane. You see what I'm saying? This is an open world sandbox game. What you're trying to make is a massive online multiplayer online world. And somebody like myself, not saying I wouldn't get the new GTA, because I probably would, but it would depend on certain aspects. Like what are we looking at here? Are you saying that this is just GTA 5 with some new skins, or because I think the main problem they're gonna have with that game, different from Saints Row, is when you bring out GTA 6, you need all 10 million people to stop playing GTA 5 and jump to GTA 6, especially the content creators. That's the main people right there that you're gonna need, because we're the ones that, to be honest, it's like TV. We're the ones that do TV every day. So if we don't play your game, then a lot of other people aren't going to really care about it, because it's not going to be in front of them. They're not going to check for it, and it's not going to sell. So, and especially what you don't want people saying GTA 6 comes out, but GTA 5 is better, and now you got 2 million people on GTA 6, but you got, 10 plus million people on GTA 5. So if I had to guess it correctly, the reason why we ain't got it yet is because they're waiting on the new consoles. GTA probably does not want to release on the previous Xbox and the previous PlayStation. A lot of games are starting to do that. God of War next year is going to release just on the PlayStation 5. So it has started to happen where some games are only Xbox Series X and S and PlayStation 5 games. So the need for those consoles are there. But like I was saying with Saints Row, I think that it's a good game. I think that if you need more information, head on over to Saints Row's Twitter, or just look it up online. You could probably find the trailer on YouTube pretty easy. Try to find somebody similar to myself if you want to hear another opinion. Somebody. It doesn't have to be like, if you notice, I told you it's not GTA 5 online, so it's not going to have this massive online open world, right? I haven't heard about DLC or anything like that, so the game may come as, what the game is. I haven't had time to actually play it myself, so I can't say how the gameplay feels, right? But where I'm coming from is somebody that was honest with you, that basically they have made one bad game out of 4. So that's a pretty good average, and they know that they can't go too far off the range with this one. They can't be like, okay, in Saints Row, we got people that can fly just because they got superpowers and they shooting beams, and nah, they ain't gonna fly, especially today. So this is gonna be your standard open sandbox looter shooter. I'm down for it. Saints Row, I'll be there as best I can. Okay, so the next topic, WWE 2K22 looks good. Is it a day one? Okay, so from what I know, I bought WWE 2K18 and I bought WWE 2K19. Now, if I could say anything, WWE 2K21 was a mess. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not one of those people that are just gonna tell you that was a good game. Let me tell you like this: I love WWE. Always gonna love WWE. Right? Like, I plan on getting a subscription service before WrestleMania so I can get caught up on, who's who and stuff like that, right? But if I could say anything, I'm a little, I'm hesitant to call it a day one because of what happened last time. With WWE 2K21, it was a lot of bugs, a lot of glitches, a lot of things that should not have been there. And I think it's a mixture, to be honest, if I had to call it fair, I think it's a mixture of them having no competition at the time and also WWE not putting the heat on them. I think that last year, basically, I think that when you look at a game like 2K22, right? I'm not going to jump into all of it, but just saying outright, 2K22 has become like an open world basketball game. They gave you more than what you were asking for in this year's 2K, right? So when you look at WWE and AEW has a game coming out, right, in a little bit called I I forget what the name is. Not in a bad way. I'm not an AEW fan. Nothing against them, but when you look at AEW has a game coming out, right? And the last thing, this is just me. I don't think there's a slim. You know how they say you got a slim chance, and Slim just left town. That's how they say in Madden. They say they got a slim chance to win, but Slim just left town. Right? I think AEW got a slim chance to make a better game, but I think Slim just left town. You talking about 2K? You talking about the brothers that make NBA 2K? What? Bruh. When these guys make games, they rarely, this is the thing, like I try to explain to people. When you thinking about buying, especially when you thinking about buying a game, know that I'm going to come with it honestly with you. I'm not going to sit up here and just say, okay, a game's good to make me look good. That game can end up becoming trash. And then you looking at me like, hey, Salt Aries, you told me this was a good game. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not going to put my rep on the line for bull crap. Now, like I said, I'm going to be honest with you. 2K21 was not the stuff. But 2K19 was. Okay? And here's some things that I'm going to say now that I'm pretty sure they're going to do in this game. They're going to release a $60 version. And then they're going to release a $100 and then a $100 plus version. You want the $100 plus version. It is so bad. Here's the thing about it. I'm willing to honestly say, you know why I don't have a problem with PlayStation charging $70 for games? Honestly. You know why? Because video games cost $100 nowadays. When you look close at NBA 2K, that's $100 plus. Madden, 80 something bucks, probably about 90 bucks when you get to tax. $100 for people that don't have EA access. Most games that come out, same thing with 2K, Madden, people that play FIFA, people that play NHL, people that play Major League Baseball, sports games are $100 something, right? WWE is a sports entertainment wrestling, right? For me, if I had to bet, somebody said, put down a bet right now on do you think WWE gonna run? I think there'll be little minor things that are wrong with the game, like every game that's live, because this is gonna be a live game. It's gonna be the type of game where they bring out content later on. The reason why you want the $100 edition, if you choose to get it, is so that way, number one, you have the season pass, because they're gonna have a season pass where there's this wrestler is coming to the game and this wrestler is coming to the game. This wrestler over here is about to come to the game. You don't want to be in a situation where they release 4 superstars every week, and every week you got to spend $10 on a superstar pack, and then by the time you get to the end of the pack run, you at like $70 for the year, right? Here's the thing. When you buy the $100 version, right? When you buy the $100 version, typically they give you at least all the wrestlers. Now, the Battle Pass gives you the ability to buy all the wrestlers up front that they release in that year. And then the next year, you would get another Battle Pass to continue on. I don't think 2K is going to miss, just because, if I'm not mistaken, WWE can pull the license. Like, WWE doesn't have to let 2K make their game. Like, they could be like, hey, you guys messed up on 2K21, and if 2K22 comes out messed up, they could always just, I don't know. I know that, I'm not saying I don't know. I'm saying, like, I know that they have a contract in place, but it's not known how many games they have it in contract for. You see what I'm saying? Like, if it releases a buggy mess, I'm pretty sure WWE could be like, hey, we don't want you making our games anymore, and take their game to another studio, right? So, and especially with AEW making a game with a rival company, like, the last thing 2K would want is, especially before 2K23 comes out, the last thing that 2K would want is that AEW has a game come out that's made by a lesser known studio than 2K, and their game is better than WWE's game. So for me, the things that I'm gonna love, hopefully the one thing that I'm hoping they get correct, and I'm hoping on a star, right, is that my career. I really feel, to be honest, that nothing against the fact that you played as a woman or anything like that, that last story was trash. Okay? I spent more time competing in dance competitions, hot dog dance-offs, disco dance-offs, jokingly little high school events. I spent more time arguing with high school kids than I did wrestling in the WWE. And it wasn't enjoyable. So I would not recommend WWE 2K21. I would recommend WWE 2K19. I have it already as a game to play until 2K22 comes out. Now with 2K22, pay attention to the information that you hear. If you like what you hear, get the game. Myself, I'm leaning towards getting it. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some pre-order bonus that is going to be talked about right before the game comes out. I'm one of those people that I'm digital right now. 9 times out of 10, because the Xbox Series X comes with a disc, but myself, I'm just not I don't know. I just stopped being disc. One time it came out of nowhere. The wife Rosari's blessed me with the gift of a Xbox Series S, and I just stopped buying games. And then, really, to be honest, before this, I just went digital because it's easier. When you're playing a game and you want to switch to another game, you could just, menu button, click it, and you on to the next game and stuff like that. So, basically, I think that for me, okay, I'm speaking for me. For me, WWE comes at a good time of the year. I think it comes out in, I want to say March, Q1, the beginning of the year. March isn't too jam-packed because Crossfire comes out through Xbox Game Pass. That's a completely different game. It's not a is anybody gonna, especially if Crossfire X, especially if the story is just a story. It's wrestling. For me, to tell you the truth, wrestling games are classics. Like, I've been playing wrestling games since before WrestleMania 2000. Back in the WWE Attitude Era. Okay, back when it was DX, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, Triple H, The Game, rest in peace, That's the bottom line because I said so. Know your damn role and shut your mouth, stuff like that. So, and then, of course, living and breathing by ECW, hardcore ECW, nothing like it, nothing will ever beat it. There is nobody that's going to take that title. It's the most extreme wrestling to ever come out of Philadelphia in the whole world, to be frankful. So for me, buying WWE 2K would be great if the career, they don't have to do much. Here's the thing. Just give me a career where I create a wrestler, I start off, and then you work your way up to like back in the old days. You know, you work your way up to being the what's the first one? You work your way up to being something like the 24/7 hardcore champion, right? Then you work your way up to being the U.S. champion, the Intercontinental champion. Maybe you become tag team champions for a while. Then you become the world heavyweight champion. Then you defend your streak, or however way you call it. It's not hard, you know. Don't overcomplicate the situation. That's the one thing I hope they don't do. They tried to make 21 do everything. They tried to make it a story where you play as a woman half the time, you play as a guy half the time. You dealing with school bullies, you dealing with people bullying you in WWE. You're already a Hall of Famer, but then you go back in time to relive your moments. I'm like, this is too much. You know, too many people were allowed to put their opinion in on this. It should just be, you know, just like 2K. You know, this year's 2K I'll be getting into later. Amazing story. They kept it simple. They didn't go far. So WWE, to be honest, I want the game, but I will be paying severe attention to everything that comes out about this game. Okay, stream's good. Um, you know, just to let you know, it's gonna be one of those things where, you know, because the thing about it is it's at a perfect time of year where if I was playing, because I'm gonna be playing Halo and other games, we're gonna be getting into that a little bit later. But if I was playing Crossfire X and I was playing Halo and you know I was gonna be playing Saints Row because Saints Row was supposed to come out in the beginning of the year, but now it's been moved to August. So WWE can be that game, and the good thing about WWE is the funny part is it's always fun. You know, like if they do the career right, it's always fun because it's about your character, it's about leveling up. I'm pretty sure they got modes that other people play, you know, like franchise and stuff like that. The weird part about it is when it comes to 2K games, I've fallen in love with my career. Now, if my career falls short, there's always something that you can do, like franchise mode or something like that. So there has to be more information. Like I'll probably be looking up some of these games offhand and then, you know, doing videos about what I found out, you know, leading up to them and stuff. And then of course I'll be doing a video letting if I'm gonna get it ahead of time and what it's gonna be and stuff like that. So question mark on WWE. I'll keep you updated. But Starfield's a go, Crossfire's a go, Saints Row's a go, question mark on WWE. Okay. So the next topic, Battlefield 2042, my thoughts after 10 hours played. Okay, so recently, I think it was the Battlefield beta. I played I want to say about an hour to 2 hours. And then I downloaded the EA Access trial for Battlefield 2042, and I played about 9 hours. I have mixed feelings because of things that I've read even today. One of the things that I like about, this is just me, but one of the things that I like about Battlefield is the massive open world, okay? I like the 120 something battle where, you know, it's just epic carnage. You know, you don't know what's going on. I liked it in the first 4 hours, roughly, of doing it. But then I noticed that there are some downsides to it. Like some of the maps are very hill heavy. So when you load into a spawn point, like say you load into zone A and the team starts to move to zone B, when we're moving across the hills, there's nothing to protect us from the camp that's already there. So there's been times where, you know, there's only one path that leads to zone B, and somebody will just line a tank up and just fire away, you know, at the entry point, and there's no way to get to them, right? And there has been a lot of vehicle, you know, it is, you know, vehicle heavy, right? Which is fun. I'm not gonna lie. There's been times that I've manned tanks. The plane was a little hard to operate, so I didn't really jump into that. But I was in the tank. The tank was very fun to be a part of. At the same time, I felt that, to me, keeping it all the way 100 honest, I looked at the game and I was like, it's only the one mode that I like. I'm not a fan of the Portal thing where you're playing Call of Duty, where you're playing Battlefield from before people online, right? For you to be able to run a match, a straight up stream match where you defend PvE missions, right? You only need 4 people. Now, when I read that Battlefield wants to build a mode for 64 people because some people don't like the 128 battle, the first thing that it made me think of was, okay, so that means not everybody wants to play the mode that I like. The main mode in the game that I like, All Out Warfare, people are complaining that, essentially they don't want to have to compete in. Now, what you have to keep in mind is, let's say this 64 battle thing comes out, right? Now the 64 battle comes out and everybody flocks to the 64. Now, I don't play the 64, even though I can't say I don't like it, but I don't really play the 64 as much, right? So let's say that now everybody flocks to the 64. If I've bought the game, right, if I go through with the purchase for the game, because we're nearing the end of that trial, I think it's like an hour or so left on it. If I purchase the game, there's a strong possibility that everybody may abandon the game. As far as the 128 player battle goes, right? Everybody may choose to say, well, now that you can play 64 people, I'm going to play 64 people, right? It's one of those things where it's a good game, but I don't think that it's enough. I'm willing to, that's another thing that's going to happen here on the Areas Alert Show. There's going to be information that you find out that I put here that I don't put other places. And I'm willing to say tonight, I don't think it's enough. And I'm going to tell you why. Halo's Infinite multiplayer is incredible, okay? I play Halo a lot. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not the best killer in Halo. I don't have the best KD or anything like that. But what I love about Halo is the fact that the different sorts of customizations that they put in the game, okay? I am a customizable person. When I was younger, when I played, not going down memory lane or nothing, but when I was a young whippersnapper, most games didn't let you customize yourself. Most games made you play as, to call it fair, a Caucasian man or a Caucasian, woman, and that was just the output, period. Nowadays, most games let you change your ethnicity, your face. Hell, some games even got face scanning technology, like 2K, where you can scan your face into the damn game. I'm going to be setting myself up here, even though it's a show, I'm going to be setting myself up here for a small midstream break. And then I'm not going to let this run out. I'm going to pause it and then come back. So the thing of what I was saying was, back when I was a young whippersnapper, games made you play as a Caucasian male. Hold on, let me open this. 1 second. Had to open them goodies. Oh, that's too much. 1 second. Okay. So they made you play as, the single character that they felt that you wanted to play as. So in my, mid-30s and things like that now, right, basically, I want to play games that let me customize myself. I want to be a different character. If I'm giving you, like with WWE, if I'm giving you $100-something, that's because by the middle of this game, I'm going to have a character that's, the guy, if I was a wrestler, this is what my character would look like. So with Battlefield, and I hate to be one of those people, but it did, especially this year, it did come down to Battlefield versus Halo. Because what I've learned is you can only play so many games. I'm not saying that you can't play multiple games, but when it comes to categories, you can only really play that category one game. Like take basketball, for instance, right? I bought 2K. I'm not buying, even though they didn't come out with it, I wouldn't buy NBA Live because I can't play 2 basketball games at once. It's the same thing with Madden and 2K. When Madden and 2K used to come out, I used to buy one or another, whichever one I felt was better. I think I bought the one One year I bought 2K, and then I bought Madden because it was on sale later. But it was one of those things where I didn't play it at the same time, right? To be honest, it started to be a little bit less customized than I expected. I mean, I like the fact that they had Omar in the game from The Wire and stuff like that, but at the same time, there was no real customization. It was everybody's customization kind of looked the same. You could either wear the night map, um, the night maps. One second. You could either wear the night maps, um, or the ice map, the white suit or the black suit or things like that. And then the what do you call those? The operators that you choose to be is everybody has them set already. So it kind of like there were times where I could see like I would get killed by a guy that was running the same setup as me. It'd be a guy with a drone in a suit or something, and I'm like, okay, where was the alert? Like, where was the where in the middle of this battlefield am I gonna be able to sit down and pull up a drone and do all that sorts of stuff, in the middle of this massive battlefield? So what happened was I started to play Halo Infinite a little bit, and to be honest, I don't have the battle pass yet, right? But one of the things that drew me to the battle pass was the way it was set up. Basically, it's not play to win. It's not one of those things where Halo is giving you a it's not one of those things where Halo is giving you like a rifle that nobody else has. What it's doing is it's giving you the customizable options that you would normally have to level up extremely hard to get. You see what I'm saying? Like, you basically get a jump in I think I read something where if you get the premium, I could be wrong, don't quote me on this, but I think I read something where they said if you get the premium battle pass that you get jumped to like level 25 when it comes to loot. Now, to somebody like me, that's very attractive, for a battle pass, because that means I can buy the battle pass and then double my loot as I'm essentially, as I'm playing the game. So I'm playing for a little bit, right? And then I go to the game customization, and just, doing comparisons, because I'm playing both and I'm not really putting it out there like that, but I'm doing the comparisons on, which one I feel is better. And lo and behold, Halo goes off and gives me icons that you can put on the guns. Uh, you can put stickers. Like, I got the one I got now is the Spartan helmet, the classic Spartan helmet, where it's like the helmet with the brush thing, like the broom, look like the broom top on top of their heads. I was able to put that on my gun. I was able to put that on my chest. I was able to put that on my gamer tag, when the thing that pops up when you kill somebody and when you start the match and stuff like that. I was able to put it on all those different things, right? Then I was able to get a charm, the dangly joint that hangs from the gun that you can see while you're playing. I was able to pick all these things up, and it really kind of opened my eyes a bit to where Battlefield was going. Like, I know, don't get me wrong, I know they're going to come with more operators, and I know also that they're going to come with more maps. So I can't necessarily say that, it's not a good game. It's just that I feel that they didn't do enough. And when I hear people saying, well, I don't like the 100, because they say that they're bringing the 64-player battle thing into the game, but they just don't know how long it's going to be there. Okay, so the thing that I liked from Halo, right, which kind of can, run in competition with these guys, is the fact that they said they're going to put in free-for-all. Now, if I'm not mistaken, free-for-all is the one where it's every man for himself. This ain't no team effort. This is who can rack up the most kills. That is team deathmatch, or team deathmatch, something like team deathmatch, every man for himself. That's the sort of, if I got to, like if I have no choice, and basically this is how the game is turning out for Halo, I would play free for all, where it's everybody for themselves, or I would play team deathmatch, where it's me and 4 people versus them. I would do that every day because it's similar to what I did on Destiny. If you look back on some of my old content, I would log into Destiny. I wouldn't run none of the missions. I would go directly to the Crucible, and I would play myself and 4 other teammates versus the enemy from the game. So I've been looking. Who knows? I may reinstall Destiny as well because the Crucible was very good. So the thing about it was games like that, where I was going with it, right? Games like that are the type of games where you can be in them for extremely long. Okay, with Battlefield, I think that Battlefield's a good game, right? But because I don't think it was smart myself to take out the story, right? You see what I'm saying? I don't think it was right to just say, okay, we're gonna just ice the whole story, especially when the main thing that you were advertising, you had to create a mode to do opposite. It'd be something different if Battlefield said, hey, we just created a mode, and now instead of 128 players, you can play against 200 players and something like that. Then you'd be like, hey, man, they getting bigger and bigger. But to say, okay, well, we created a mode where we have 100-something people, but now we cut it in half, and now it's 64 people. What's next? It's only 20 people, 30 people? Because it ain't really Battlefield when it ain't a huge battlefield. Now, what they said was, and what does have me intrigued about the game still, because here's the thing about it, right? From what I know, I could be wrong because I have not looked up these prices, because when I came in from work, and I didn't really have a chance to pull down prices, so I don't have release dates and prices. I just have the years, right? Now, from what I know, Halo's Battle Pass for the year is $10. Now, I could be wrong, okay? But the premium Battle Pass is where you get all that stuff in. So you kind of, to call it fair, you kind of have to make your mind up, is where I'm going with this. Because, yeah, you can buy both. Like you could be the type of person that says, I'm going to buy Halo, I'm going to buy Battlefield, and then I'm going to turn around and buy Halo as well because I like both of them, right? But the thing about it is, if you, like, say you buy the Battle Pass in Halo, right? One second, grab the vape. Say you buy the Battle Pass in Halo, right? And then you buy the Battle Pass in Battlefield. There's nothing wrong with that. You got 2 great games to play over the course of the holidays. There ain't nothing wrong with that. There ain't going to be another shooter, possibly Crossfire X, or a different game till January, February anyway. So it ain't like you shutting yourself off. I think they'll both grow to be very good over the next couple months. To tell you the truth, I myself, the decision I'm at now is to play both. Because this is, hate to sound like a broken record, but just calling it the way it is, this is some of the benefits of Xbox. See, when you have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, I got Halo for free. I got the campaign for free. I got the multiplayer for free. So the only thing I really need to buy is the Battle Pass, right? Now the Battle Pass, from what I know, is, let's say, $10, right? And then the premium Battle Pass, I think, is $50 to $100. I could be wrong, right? Battlefield is a good game, and I like it. After the trial, the question of it is, and the question that I can't really answer myself is, will everybody else like it for months on end? You see what I'm saying? Because the one thing I'm going to tell you like this, that 64-player battle thing, not too bad. There are times, to tell you the truth, there are times where I could be, it'll be me and 7 other guys holding down a point, right? and then someone will roll in with a tank and just start destroying the building, and there's nothing you could do about it because your tank guy is on the other side of the map, or we don't spawn a tank right away, so they just got a tank. So I think that you know Halo can I think Halo can satisfy the shooter. Okay, stream is back on. The final decision will be closer to around Christmas time. I think there's going to be a Christmas sale. I think there's going to be like a I shouldn't say Christmas Day, but yeah, in a way Christmas Day, because you have to think, this is just me, I'm just guessing here. If you sell an Xbox Series S or you sell a PlayStation to somebody, and Christmas Day they turn it on and all the games are $100 or $200 or something like that, most of the time most people aren't going to be happy, right? Now if they turn on the console and there's 100 games that are 50 to 85% off, that average kid that just bought that console, or that parent or that loved one that just bought it for their loved one, can say, "Oh yeah, let's get a game also. Get you a game for $50, or get you what's your friends playing? Call of Duty? They're playing Battlefield. Get you Call of Duty or 2K or Madden or something like that, right?" So I think games like that are going to be at a discount. So it's not really a little bit longer. I think that if you can wait it out, frankly, a bit longer, then I think what that'll do is that'll put you in a position where if you buy Battlefield, at least you got the best deal possible. You see what I'm saying? Like, say that I choose Battlefield because I do like the game. I'm not going to sit up here and lie. 1 second. Because I just noticed at the time, I'm going to wrap this one up, and then I'm going to be off stream. But yeah, just to say this one. So, I'm jumping into the last topic here. Xbox. Xbox 2021 in review, and what the path forward looks like. Okay, so just to bring you up to speed, this year Xbox Game Pass had MLB The Show. They also they released, well, the game that knocked it out of the park for me was MLB The Show. I'm a very sports person. When Outriders the game came out, that was available day one on X. Okay, we were reconnected. Some of the games that I mentioned already, like Starfield, Crossfire X. When you place these games in a year, right? You got Crossfire X in February. You got WWE 2K in March. You got Saints Row in August. You got Madden in August. You got NBA 2K in September. You got Call of Duty in December. And you got God of War on the PlayStation side supposedly in next year. And then you got Starfield around that same time next year, right? So for me, my wallet is somewhere, crying in the corner, because when you look at it, you already got at least 6 games that are really basically already purchases. This is the reason why when people put out the narrative that Xbox doesn't have games, it sounds stupid, to tell you the truth. It's the same narrative when people try to say that PlayStation's broke. Like these dudes, you have to understand something. Right now, we're in the middle of a gaming war, okay? They may not be going at each other because I don't think, and I do believe what they tell us. Their competition, Xbox is not in competition with PlayStation. PlayStation is not in competition with Xbox. Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo are in competition with Google, Amazon, and Apple, okay? Because when you look at their markets, Apple, Amazon, and Google with their mobile games they're making hand over fist money. Okay, like in a way, that microtransaction stuff that we like as much as customers. Man, there's people that buy $100 worth of Candy Crush tokens a day just because they like the game. Okay, ain't nothing wrong with that. There's no You shouldn't feel ashamed for that. Hell, I spent $120 on video games. It is what it is, okay? But where I'm coming from is the fact that when you look at Xbox next year, they're swinging back. That's the one thing I'm gonna tell you honestly that I didn't like from Xbox, just to call it fair, over these past, couple years, was the fact that they weren't swinging back. PlayStation was coming out with The Last of Us, God of War. What else did they come out with? Spider-Man. Just those 3 games alone. And Xbox swung back with Crackdown and Sea of Thieves and Ground. I didn't like none of those games. I'm not going to sit up here and just say they're good games because they came out from Xbox. But what they are doing, okay, they're bringing out something like Starfield. That man, he's had a gun down on that counter. Now, unless I'm mistaken, unless this is a walking simulator with Starfield where all we're doing is picking up rocks and selling rocks, which, to be honest, would be boring, I highly doubt that they put that gun in that game and this man ain't shooting at somebody. Okay, so we getting some sort of action with this game. I'm already into it. Crossfire X, anytime somebody says that they're playing a game and they feel that the game plays like Call of Duty Modern Warfare, you could be on to something special because you might have just found your Call of Duty. Because a lot of people would, just to let you know, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff with, I'm not even going to get into it, but there's a lot of messed up stuff that's going on with Activision and Blizzard right now with their employees and how they treat their employees and women and men. And at the same time, a lot of people are calling for a boycott of Call of Duty right now. So to me, I don't really get into Call of Duty as much because basically they give special treatment to PlayStation, and I'm not a second class gamer. It's just like how Phil said, we're not going to be second class gamers, and that's just what it is. What it is. So I necessarily myself don't play Call of Duty as much. But then when you look at something like Saints Row, it's going to be a multi-plat. It's not only exclusive on Xbox, but it's for people that are about that world. Like it's an open sandbox game. I'm going to tell you right now, I have to buy a storage device. It's not because I just want to go buy a new piece of technology. I just name 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 games that I'm thinking about getting between now and September of next year. Each one of these games probably going to be 100-something gigs. Like, I hate to say it, but am I the only one that's noticing these games are like 100 to 200-something gigs for a freaking hard drive, So I'm going to have to step it up to probably, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't see, because I'm hesitant to buy the $500. I'm hesitant to buy the 520 gigabyte something option, because then it would only give me a terabyte. And when you really add it together, most games are 80 something to 100 gigabytes. So if you buy 500 more gigabytes, that's what, 5 more games. So you have roughly 8 or so games, right? Now, if I buy the 2 terabyte, you see what I'm saying? Where I'm going with this? Different pieces of technology that have to be thought about to think about putting in the streams. Like prime example, just to tell you this one before I get out of here, because we are getting out of here when this game's over in 4 minutes exactly. The new MacBooks that they just came out with, on the charger, you can put the Ethernet cord into the charger. So what that means is, in my setup now, because I don't want to push my, with anybody, I don't think you should ever push your computers and your tablets and stuff like that too far. I think that when you reach a level that you understand that you need bigger equipment, you should go out and get that bigger equipment, because you could end up burning your stuff out. You see what I'm saying? Like all this overclocking and stuff like that, you do what you're going to do. But myself personally, I like keeping my devices for as long as I can keep them and stuff. So 9 times out of 10, if I was to go that route, because I was looking into things, we talked about it, I was looking into things for the stream, right? I was looking into things for internet purposes. Like my prime example, one of the problems we was dealing with was internet on the stream, right? That basically what was happening was, one second, a little hot under the collar. Okay, we are back. One of the things we're still dealing with now is being on a Wi-Fi connection and basically having to deal with Wi-Fi signals. So if I did move into an iMac or something like that, that would take it away. Now, what would happen is that would completely ice out PC games. So there wouldn't be no Windows and no Steam and all this other stuff until they work it out with Mac computers. Now, to me, I don't have a problem with that, because once again, when you look at the level of games, this is the Xbox that I've been waiting for. This is the Xbox that I know. You see what I'm saying? The shooter box. I don't care if it is a shooter box. So give me more shooters. Like when you're talking about, and then also there's another game as well that I'm waiting on that I might like. I didn't want to talk too much about it, but there's a game called Avowed, which is a first person. In the trailer, supposedly they're fighting, I want to say, bigger than you monsters, right? It's kind of like, I want to say Lord of the Rings, okay? The guy was holding a sword, and he drew a spell in the air, and then he put his hand through it, and then it lit his hand on fire, and then he was standing there waiting for whatever it was coming at him to come through the hallway. To me, that looks like a good game as well. Now, a lot of these games, the reason why I think they won't get delayed, just putting that out there before we end it out here, I'm not going to say that they can't be delayed. What I'm saying is the reason why I don't think they will be delayed is because they're not coming from just one studio. Like, just because everybody is under Microsoft Studios, they all work individually. You see what I'm saying? So the guys that are making Starfield have been making Starfield and Starfield only. The guys that are making Crossfire have been making Crossfire and Crossfire only. Like even with Battlefield, 9 times out of 10, that the reason why, just calling it fair, the reason why Battlefield does cost 100, and if I do go that route, what that does is that gives me the ability to be ready for next year. So when Call of Duty comes back out, which is rumored to be bringing a new Call of Duty and stuff like that, they'll probably just bring Battle Pass Season 2. And when you buy Battle Pass Season 1, and they're coming out with Battle Pass Season 2, it's highly unlikely that you'll just walk away from the game because it's all your loot. Now the gun list and things, I have to do some more research and kind of find out what you get for the passes and stuff like that. But when you look at Xbox in this next upcoming year to 2 years here, I think that I like what I'm hearing. Okay, and to put it out there too, I think Spider-Man, because I put a tweet out here earlier today, because I hear a lot of people saying, well, PlayStation's winning because of Spider-Man and Wolverine. Just to clear this up here, God of War comes out in 2022, okay, possibly next year. I'm not putting anything bad out there. I think it will be a good game. It's God of War, okay? So God of War comes out 2022. Spider-Man is supposed to come out possibly 2023. And then Wolverine is supposed to come out after that. So Spider-Man is basically almost 2 years away, you could call it, because we're still in December now type of thing, right? Spider-Man will probably come out around the holidays, right? So Spider-Man 2 doesn't come out till 2023. 2022. No, excuse me, 2023, right? And then Wolverine possibly is ready by 2024. So, got PlayStation not having the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate option puts you into a standpoint when God of War comes out, you have to have the 70 or 80 ready for that game. Okay? Hold up. Reconnecting. Okay, we're reconnected. I've always leaned Xbox. And, not because I have anything against PlayStation. It's just basically I enjoy my Xbox and have never really been in a situation where I've kind of needed something else. But if I could say anything, I think that this Xbox that is stepping forward now is the Xbox that I am happy with. If I had to say anything, games like Grounded, Sea of Thieves. Now, don't get me wrong, I shouldn't say Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves pretty hard. Sea of Thieves pretty hard. But Grounded, Crackdown, stuff like that. Like, these games, that's not how you swing back in the war. That's not how you hold, the crown going into Halo and stuff. Now, what they did was, I was just informed, just to let you know, I played a little bit of the battle pass. I played a little bit of the multiplayer in Gears of War 5, but I never completed the story. So I get to go back and complete that. We'll be doing that on the air as well, just to surprise you and tell you here. I'm bringing Gears of War 5 to the channel. I want to get the hard drive, just to put that out there. I want to get the hard drive so that way, because what I like to do, I like to play multiple games. Majority of the time, I'll play 1 or 2 matches or 3 or 4 matches in Madden, then be like, oh, let's jump into 2 or 3 games in 2K, then let's play a little Assassin's Creed, maybe let's play a couple matches of Titanfall. My streams are really variety and stuff like that. I don't really say I'm playing one game specifically. I'm just not one of those one game people. But at the same time, the thing about it is, I think that it's it's very good where they're headed. You see what I'm saying? They're headed down to me, they're headed down a very good direction, as far as a company goes. So I think that, they both have their qualities. The reason I wanted to get into topics today while I'm watching this to see what's going to happen here, because it seems like if they go to, I'm going to stop it just to let you know if they go to overtime, because I'm looking to keep this at a certain time, because I want everybody to be able to enjoy their content without having to stay up mega late into the night and stuff like that. 3rd and 1, let's see what happens here. See what Brady does. I'm surprised they went back and forth like this. That's why I was saying. So just checking it. So it's 15 seconds. Doesn't look like they're going to get that. Oh, they called the timeout. They might actually get that field goal. If they go to overtime, then, it's not like it's a season game. I'll just end it and then, read off the title, and then we're gone. I just wanted to see how it was going to end, because that's why I put them on. So that way while we were talking, we had something going. But see, overtime can be extra long and stuff, and I don't have any more topics. So, he got 1st and 10. They let him get 1st and 10. Come on, shut this down. Well, 8 seconds now. I'm not even cheering for the Cardinals. Well, if Brady beat us or something like that in the playoffs, then I might be cheering for Brady to lose there for a minute. He probably go down. I wouldn't be surprised if he don't go down the field, just 50-yard bomb to try to put him in field goal range, because there's 8 seconds left. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He went for the air, and it is not caught, and they lose. Damn. So, yeah, what I was saying was, let me quit out of this and pass that, bring us back to the main screen, wrap things up. So Brady threw 3 touchdowns, Murray threw 3 touchdowns, but the Cardinals won. Who knows? It might be forecasting for the future. But just wrapping this up here, I want to thank everybody for coming in tonight, everybody that listened to the stream. Just to give you a little heads up, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing some recorded content. Sometimes, like at this time of night, I can record, but I can't necessarily, do too much commentary because of, other things playing in the background, TV shows, things like that. So I'm going to be doing a little bit more recorded content. Also, I'm going to be putting up more content on theta.tv. If you have not yet, let me tell you again, let me make sure I'm giving you the right one. So you know how I say you got the right one. Let me make sure I'm sending you to the right place. Okay, I'm going to read this off to you. All right. So it's www.t as in Tom, H as in Harry, E as in excellent, T as in Tom, A as in Apple, dot, T as in Tom, V as in Victor, / SR51 Media. Okay. If I'm going to type, matter of fact, let me type this in now so that way I know I'm sending you to the right place. TV. Yup. Theta.tv / SR51 Media. That is just to let you know, that is a decentralized platform, something we can get into a little bit later on. I put up a lot of tweets and posts and different information about gaming and stuff like that there. I just ran down the theta.tv website to you. Run it down again. That's www.t as in Tom, H as in Harry, E as in excellent, T as in Tom, A as in Apple, dot, T as in Tom, V as in Victor, / SR51 Media. That is theta.tv, a different platform that we are on, that I'm bringing my brand to and building my content over there as well. If you want to go over, if you could drop a follow, drop a like, and just, if you drop the follow, over there, what'll happen is when I go live there, you'll get notified. When I post a video, you'll get notified, just like YouTube. Just to let you know, it's also a hookup. You know, it's a guy that helped create YouTube that's over there building that thing. So, you know, don't be fearful to come check it out. Of course, this is the SR51 Media YouTube channel where all podcast and official game streams go on for YouTube. Now, when they're not, if I'm not live on YouTube, I'm normally live on Theta, so you need to be subscribed and liked to both of them, so that way you get notified whenever I go live, and you don't be like, oh, I missed the stream or come in late or something like that. Right beside that is the official brand website of SR51 Media. That's www.sr51media.com for over 100 hours of gameplay and much more content coming. I got good things planned, so make sure to check back often for new content updates. I want to thank everybody for coming into the stream today, watching the game, listening to the topics, retweeting, liking, sharing, anything you do to help push the brand forward. I thank you for it, and I'm going to continue to make content for you. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and make sure to come back often to the next Aries Alert Show. Peace.